I'm about to rank every UFC champion that is currently holding a belt, as well as Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, because they fight for the vacant belt in 2 weeks, and Islam technically isn't the lightweight champion anymore. But I wanted to include all three of them. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start from the right here, and I'm going to start with women's strawweight champion, who is Weili Zhang, or Zhang Weili. Now I just want to quickly go through the tier list. We have chicken salad, we have A, B, C and D. Obviously these guys are all champions. I hate that every MMA YouTuber has to make this disclaimer before any sort of tier list, but just because somebody is in D tier does not mean they're terrible. These guys are all theoretically the best fighters in their division. Okay, so I'm not saying any of them are bad, so please, Volk fans, put down the daggers and the bows and arrows. I'm sorry, alright, it's all good, we're friends. I like Volk too. Weili Zhang, in my opinion, goes, I'm gonna go, I should probably make something very clear. This is based on skill, but it is relative. So I'm not being like, well, Weili is going to go D because she couldn't beat Tom Aspinall. I'm not doing that bullshit. I'm going to say Weili Zhang, or Zhang Weili. I'm just going to call her fucking Weili. I'm going to put her in A tier. Now, 14 people just clicked off the video, so goodbye to them. But my reasoning behind putting Weili in A tier is because at this point, she is probably, out of all of the women's fighters, probably one of the most complete fighters. Like, actually decent. Like, if you put Weili into a man's body and she can, Weili in B tier. Good record for women's MMA, one of the more complete fighters that we've seen. Obviously, especially at this point, she's really kind of put it together with the wrestling. A lot of people had Tatiana Suarez kind of dominating her, but that did not happen. I've got to rate Weili. I don't rate these women's divisions that highly, just like nobody really does these days. But out of all of the women's fighters, like, I think I'm most excited to see Weili fight, I guess. Obviously good record, beat some unks like, you know, Jessica Aguilar, Tisha Torres. She beat Andrade, obviously she beat Joanna. She did lose to Rose. She beat Joanna twice actually. She KO'd her in that second fight. She beat Carla Esparza, Amanda Lemos, Yan Xiaonan, and recently Tatiana Suarez. For women's MMA, that is a pretty stellar record, pretty stellar resume. But yeah, you've got to put respect on Weili, man. She's a fan of Jack Slack. She's tapped in. I like Weili, so I'm gonna go B tier. Next, Valentina Shevchenko at flyweight. Valentina Shevchenko, I'm going to put her C tier. A lot of people thought that she was incredible for a very long time. She is very good, but I think a lot of people kind of realize now that it looked for a very long time that she was light years ahead of all the other girls because she was just a killer and she was just elite and a vicious striker and a great grappler and whatever, especially the striking. A lot of people kind of put Valentina Shevchenko as the best women's striker ever, and I'm not entirely disagreeing with you, I guess, but I just mean that the magic kind of disappeared a little bit with Valentina these past few years. Obviously she lost to Alexa Grasso, hasn't looked great in her last few performances. Obviously had a close fight with a couple girls, one of which was Taila Santos, and Taila Santos, for those who aren't aware, she had a very close fight with Valentina Shevchenko and nearly beat her. She then fought Erin Blanchfield and lost the decision to her, and then I don't know if she got cut or what happened, but she actually fought in PFL 1, PFL 4 and PFL 7. So like 3 of the first 10 events in PFL she was there, and she got 3 wins. Then she fought Dakota, and Dakota's just much better than pretty much all of these girls to an extent. So you know, I don't necessarily blame her there, but it goes to show that she went to PFL. The women's division in PFL is pretty shallow, nothing to write home about, but the fact that she almost beat Shevchenko, and then a couple of fights later Shevchenko actually loses to Alexa Grasso and gets subbed, and then has a very close second fight. A lot of people think that that's some sort of robbery. I don't know if I was biased at the time. I will hold my hands up and admit to you guys that I have not rewatched Alexa Grasso and Shevchenko 2 since I saw it live. But I remember when I saw it live, I did have it as a draw, to be honest. So call me a casual, I don't fucking know what you want me to say. Valentina Shevchenko's record includes Holly Holm, Juliana Pena, Priscilla Cachoeira, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Jessica I, Liz Carmouche, damn, Caitlin Chukagian, Jennifer Meyer, Jessica Andrade, Laura Murphy, Tyler Santos, Alexa Grasso, and Manon Fiorot. I mean, there's probably about 3 half decent women's MMA fighters that aren't on Valentina Shevchenko's record. That's why I'm going to go C tier. I can't put a D tier just because, you know, relative to the women's divisions, I've got to be fair. Otherwise, what is the point even including them in a tier list if you're just going to throw them in D tier? You know what I mean? You have to do it relative to their divisions, and Valentina and Weili are obviously cut above the rest. Next, we've got Kayla Harrison, our newest champion on this list, I'm pretty sure. Kayla Harrison obviously was killing people in PFL and Invicta outside the UFC. A lot of people wanted to see her make the transition, and she did, which is good because, you know, we need everyone we can get at this fucking point. Not much to say about her. Obviously, she crushed a lot of cans in PFL. Her last PFL fight was against Aspinall, who she beat by decision. She then came in, debuted at UFC 300 and subbed Holly Holm, and then since then she has decisioned Ketlen Vieira and submitted Juliana Pena, obviously a couple of weeks ago. Kayla Harrison, in my opinion, I'm going to go D tier. I think, I'm going to go C tier behind. No, I'm going D tier, bro. Fuck it. If I had to rate the champions, I would go, would I? I actually don't know what to do here. Why am I stressing about this so much? I'm going to leave them where they are for now, but I may shuffle these around. Kayla, you have to kind of put some respect on her judo and her grappling, although, nah, fuck it, bro, she's detailed. What the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, grappling's great. Judo does work in MMA to an extent, especially in women's MMA, but you know, you can't crush cans, beat Aspen Ladd, sub Juliana Pena and Holly Holm, and be on the same tier as somebody like Shevchenko, who has just fought all of those names that I just read out to you, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go with Kayla Harrison in D tier. Onto the actual sport. Alexandre Pantoja is going A tier for me. I think people need to put some respect on his name for real. Like, I need to make a whole video about Pantoja, and actually I feel like a lot of people got into MMA quite recently, and a lot of Pantoja's best wins, they're a little while back. He's basically beat everybody in the fucking division that has any sort of name twice. So he's beat all of these guys, these top flyweights, twice. He had a close fight with Steven Arceg. Everyone was like, I don't know why everybody wants Pantoja to lose so much. He's a great flyweight. He can grapple. His scrambles are amazing. His defensive grappling's amazing. He has stones in his hands and hits very hard. He can take the biggest shot from the biggest punchers in that division. Obviously he lost against Figgy, but it's just I don't understand why everybody wants to see Pantoja lose. I don't know why he's such a... What is it about the flyweight division that you guys don't like, but you love bantamweight? It's fucking £10, bro. So listen to Pantoja's record. So he's got Damasio Page on his record. Shout out Damasio Page. He's got Brandon Moreno, Wilson Hayes, Matt Schnell, Manel Kape, Brandon Royval, Alex Perez, Brandon Moreno again, Brandon Royval again, Steve Erceg, Kai Asakura. He's beat the top guys twice, and he's finished a lot of these. He submitted pretty much most of the people that I just said. He finished Wilson Hayes with punches. He KO'd Matt Schnell. He beat Manel Kape in a decision. Manel Kape, people going about Manel Kape like he's a fucking future champion. He can't even make it to a fight. He submitted Brandon Royval. He submitted Alex Perez. He beat Brandon Moreno in a split decision on the second time. He submitted Kai Asakura recently, and I would love to see the Pantoja and Merab fight, because I think Pantoja would do very well. 8 knockouts, 11 submissions. Like, in 29 wins, 8 knockouts, 11 submissions, 10 decisions. Like, he's fine wherever it goes. And the people he's lost to Askar Askarov a little while back now. I think that was like pandemic time. He obviously lost to Figgy, like I said, and he lost to Dustin Ortiz. But, you know, these are fights from January 20th, 2018. The Pantoja is... You need to get on the Pantoja train, bro. Go watch some Pantoja highlights and you'll realise, why the fuck am I not excited for this guy to fight? I don't understand what it is about the flyweights, bro. It breaks my heart. But hopefully, people like Joshua Van and Jose Ochoa and Lona Kavanaugh will kind of bring a little bit of spotlight back to the flyweight division. So I'm going to A tier for Alexandre Pantoja, and I think that is very deserved. I think S tier should be for only one champion, in my opinion. So A tier is basically second, third, fourth, fifth, type shit. So yeah, Alexandre Pantoja goes to A tier for me. Next we have bantamweight and we have Merab. Now I just want to make a point about Merab. He came into the UFC against Frankie Saenz in 2017, and he was 7-2. He was 9 fights into his career, which is very young in my opinion. And 2017 is of course a long time ago. So he comes into Frankie Saenz, close fight, loses a split decision. He then gets submitted by Ricky Simón in 2018. So this is a long time ago. Ricky Simone's picking up wins now, but he's not at the top of the division like Merab. After he gets submitted by Ricky Simón, Merab has not lost since. So Merab hasn't lost since April 21st, 2018. This is the names on his record. So he's got Brad Katona, who went on to win the Ultimate Fighter twice, Casey Kenny, John Dodson, Cody Stamen, Marlon Moraes, Jose Aldo, Piotr Jan, Henry Cejudo, Sean O'Malley twice, and Umar Nurmagomedov. If this guy beats Corey Sandhagen, in my opinion, he's the greatest bantamweight of all time. I know a lot of people are saying he is now, and I'm not going to dispute that. If you want to put him over Cruz, like, you go ahead. I'm not going to argue with you there. But just a little recap. Just of the actual names on his record: John Dodson, Marlon Moraes, Jose Aldo, Piotr Jan, Henry Cejudo, Sean O'Malley twice, and Umar Nurmagomedov. I mean, you could probably pick 3 or 4 fighters in that list that a lot of people would... that Merab was the underdog for, is my point. A lot of people counted him out against Piotr Jan, a lot of people counted him out against Jose Aldo. They hated him for that Jose Aldo performance, and most of these are all decisions. He TKO'd Marlon Moraes and subbed O'Malley last weekend, but other than that, it is basically all decisions from his debut until now. He has 2 finishes, 1 TKO, one submission. But it is what it is. Not everybody has to be, you know, a finishing machine. We do like to see kind of all aspects of MMA be used. At the end of the day, there are like fucking 8 fucking weight classes, so I don't mind if a couple of them have like a pressure wrestler, like somebody that impresses you in different ways other than just knocking somebody out, you know what I mean? So Merab, in my opinion, he goes A tier, and I'm going to put him in front of Pantoja just because they are both pretty much just as dominant, but Pantoja does have that earth's egg performance, and the second Moreno fight was close. Merab, other than the fight with Umar, is basically shutting these guys out. So I have to put Merab just slightly in front of Pantoja for that reason, in my opinion. Next, we've got Alexander Volkanovski at featherweight. Just to go through Volk's record, he's got Darren Elkins, Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo, Max Holloway 3 times, Brian Ortega, the Korean Zombie, Yair Rodriguez, and Diego Lopez. A lot of top featherweights. He also took Islam Makhachev to a very close decision. There was literally 1 round in that fight. You know, you could have given it to either guy. Seems like the majority of people gave it to Islam, but there's definitely a case for Volk. If you want to talk about unified rules and damage over everything, and Islam didn't do anything with the control time in that round, there is definitely a case to be made for Volk winning that fight, or it being like some kind of draw, like stalemate, which I think they should use draws a lot more than they do. And that round, I wouldn't have been mad if they scored it a draw. It's so crazy to me that the option is there as a draw, but when they score fights as a draw, so for example, Jan Blachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev, everybody fucking hated that, and Alexa Grasso and Shevchenko too, everybody fucking hated that. And if your answer to that is, well, because it shouldn't have been a draw, Ankalaev was piecing Jan Blachowicz up, go watch that fight again, bro. I am not mad at a draw for either of those 2 fights, and I wouldn't have been mad at a draw for Volk and Islam. If they did draw, they probably would have rebooked that rematch straight away and not had Volk go back down to featherweight and stuff and take the second fight on short notice. And we may be in a different fucking timeline right now, but that's not the reality we live in. The reality we live in is Volkanovski beat all of those guys. He started with Max Holloway to win the belt. He then defended it against Max Holloway, defended it against Ortega, the Korean Zombie, defended it against Max Holloway again, and defended it against Yair. He then lost it to Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria then beat Max, moved up. Volk came back, beat Diego Lopez to regain the belt. I think that if I am being fair and I'm rating these guys current, and I'm just going to do something real quick before I kill myself, okay, so don't worry, if don't panic, okay, I'll fix the problem, because I think Volkanovski goes B tier. He is it's not nice to say it. He's on his second go around. He looks great still technically, but he's a little bit chinnier than he used to be. And let's be real, before Topuria and Islam knocked Volk out, you wasn't really worried about his chin. Like, even when he got scrappy with Max, when he got scrappy with whoever he gets scrappy with and he's in the pocket, you don't really, Volk was one of those guys, you couldn't really imagine him on the floor like unconscious type shit. Like some fighters, like every time Darren Till used to fight, I used to fucking scream out loud every time a right hand would sail past his head. Like, some of these fighters you do have to genuinely worry for that they're going to get slept, and I never really worried about Volk, but I am now. That Lopez fight, I mean, in my opinion, Diego Lopez is overrated, and I was picking Volk all the way on that fight, but in that fight, Volk got dropped. He was in exchanges that I was terrified for him, exchanges that he was winning. He was weaving out the pocket and landing 2 or 3 hooks on the way out, and I'm like biting my fucking nails at the screen, bro. And if you're feeling like that about a top level fighter, the champion, he's got to go B tier now. And you know, 2 years ago he'd probably be fucking S tier or the second best, but he's got to go B tier now. I'm sorry. Not only that, but Topuria basically is the featherweight champ. Obviously he vacated it, but it's like paper champ shit. I hate saying that about Volk. I love Volk, but I've got to put him B tier. Next, Ilia Topuria. Now, Ilia Topuria is of course not the lightweight champ right now, and neither is Charles Oliveira, but because these guys are fighting for the vacant belt, they kind of, do you know what I mean? They're both about, one of them is about to be a champion, so I thought I'd put them both on here. And although Islam technically isn't a champion right now because he vacated his belt and he's basically a welterweight contender right now, we can all agree that Islam should be on this fucking list. Now, Ilia Topuria's record is as follows: Youssef Zalal on his UFC debut, and he beats him. I mean, that age great. Like, Youssef Zalal I think is like ranked 14 or 13 or something in the featherweight rankings right now. He's on a little run. Like, people are really behind Youssef Zalal, and Topuria got him on his debut and beat him. He also smoked Damon Jackson with a lovely combination, body head. I mean, he basically showed people, like, that Damon Jackson fight was like, right, if you like heavy boxing exchanges, if you like big heavy body shots, looping shots over the top, I'm your guy. You know, I'm gonna get people to the cage, I'm gonna throw the shots to take them out. If I take one on the chin as well, it's okay. He's here to entertain, and he showed everyone that in that Damon Jackson fight. He then fights Ryan Hall. A lot of people hate Ryan Hall just because of his fight style. Fun fact, my girlfriend, she's like kind of into MMA these days, but back in the day when she wasn't, a few years ago when I first met her, Ryan Hall was like the only UFC fighter she knew, just because every time she would sit and watch a card with me, she'd be like, who's that guy that's just fucking rolling around on the floor? Like, what, how is that effective? Like, she couldn't believe it. So Ryan Hall put his instructionals to the side, because as a grappler, Ryan Hall is fucking incredible. The 50-50, you know, revolutionized a lot of the modern jiu-jitsu game, and you know, I wouldn't say revolutionized, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know, if you know jiu-jitsu, you know Ryan Hall, and you probably respect Ryan Hall to a degree, even though he is a bit of a weird guy. Topuria KO'd him. He then fights Jai Herbert, who's not all that, not even a lightweight contender, just a good UK. I like Jai Herbert because he's a UK fighter and he's like 40 minutes fucking drive from me, but he knocks Jai Herbert out with a vicious combination again, big right hand over the top. He then, this is such an underrated win that nobody talks about, he then submits Bryce Mitchell. He hurts Bryce Mitchell with his hands, chases him down to the floor and subs him with an arm triangle. To submit Bryce Mitchell, I don't give a fuck what people's opinion about Bryce Mitchell is now, because he's on a bit of a skid, and he also enjoys fishing. That's a great win. I rate that win highly. He then beats Josh Emmett, which I've said it before. Josh Emmett, that Ilia Topuria fight, that is one of my favourite performances from anybody, like, across the sport. The way that Topuria put on a boxing clinic in that fight, every time I watch that fight, it gets me hyped. I want to go spar, I want to hit the bag, like, I want to just box, I want to throw hands. Like, the way he was shoulder rolling those overhand rights from the deadliest puncher in the division. If Topuria isn't the hardest puncher in the division, it's Josh Emmett. Topuria is standing in the pocket and shoulder rolling the very same punch that made Bryce Mitchell fucking seize up on live TV. So I rate that performance so much. He 50-42'd him, I believe. I mean, that's just a crazy scorecard. He didn't 50-42 him by holding him up against the fucking cage either. It was a striking clinic, you know what I mean? He pieced him up. Literally just pieced Josh Emmett up. It was beautiful. He then sleeps Alexander Volkanovski. Obviously, there's something to be said about the Islam knockout and how that would have affected him, but I think, as many people have said, that Volk gets slept by, any version of Volk gets slept by that punch. Topuria has shown, obviously, he can crack. He's dropped Max Holloway. He's knocked out plenty of people. I think Volk just got caught against the cage where he shouldn't. He reached out for the tie clinch, and Topuria landed in the middle, in the void, as fucking DJ would say. KO's Max Holloway. I think Ilia Topuria is skill-wise one of the best fighters we've got in the UFC at the moment, especially with his grappling. We haven't really seen it too much. I'm going to put Ilia Topuria in A tier, and I'm going to put him behind Merab, just because if he goes out and beats Oliveira, I don't know. I think he needs to stay there. If he beats Oliveira and then beats Islam, he probably goes there, to be honest. But right now, I'm just going to keep Ilia Topuria in A tier, but just behind Merab. I think, honestly, Merab's probably going to be second best on this tier list. He's just super dominant right now. Next, we've got Charles Oliveira. Now, the reality is we could be seeing a second Oliveira title reign, so people they've got fucking Du Bronx fatigue or whatever. Everybody loved Charles Oliveira a few years ago. Now if he feels like the old toy nobody wants to play with anymore, they've got Ilia Topuria now, bro. They don't need Charles Oliveira. They've got Paddy Pimblett. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Put some respect on Du Bronx. He's gonna come in and fucking light Ilia Topuria up. I'm joking. I do think Topuria sleeps Charles Oliveira, and I also think Charles Oliveira is very, very slightly washed, and I think he is one bad loss away from just falling off a cliff. I'm going to take back, he's not washed, I shouldn't use that word. He's lost a step. Whether it is a mindset thing and he's playing it more safe now, or whether it is a physical thing and his body's just not doing what he wants it to do. Whatever it is, I think he has lost a step as well. I think Oliveira could be Ilia Topuria. I think it is possible. Of course it's possible, and I think he could shock a lot of people. But to be fair, if he beats Topuria and he has to defend against like an Arman Tsarukyan, if he has to beat Justin Gaethje again, I could see him beating these guys. So Charles Oliveira is going to go beat it, and he's going to go in front of Volk, I think. I think Volk needs to get the fuck out of Dodge before Gene Silva gets to the title. Oliveira, dare I say it, lightweight, doesn't look too dangerous right now, other than Topuria. If he can get Topuria out the way, it's a bunch of guys that he's fought before. So Charles Oliveira goes B tier in front of Volk, in my opinion. Next, Islam Makhachev. Now, obviously, he is not the lightweight champion anymore, but he is still technically the lightweight champion. So Islam Makhachev, I am going to put him... This is a hard one, bro, because I really... You know what I'm going to do? It was inevitable. It was inevitable. Gonna do this just to spread things out a little bit more. I'm happy with the order of these women's champions. I think Weili is better than both of these as an MMA fighter, so I'm happy with that. But I'm just gonna do this just to spread things out a little bit more, because Islam Makhachev is gonna go the front of A tier. Now hear me out, did sub Poirier, but there were moments in that fight where he struggled a little bit. Now Poirier is amazing, but Merab and Ilia, other than a head kick off Jai Herbert, haven't really struggled. Merab had a tough fight against Umar, but didn't really struggle, you know what I mean? Islam was going life and death with Volk in that first fight, a man that was coming up. I rate Islam so much, I very, very almost put him here. I still might. If I shuffle things at the end, I don't know. Islam, in my opinion, is one of the best MMA fighters that's ever existed. But when we're talking championship and we're talking title reign and these kind of things, his resume isn't as crazy as somebody like Merab's. And you may think, what the fuck am I talking about? But listen, Arman Tsarukyan, Davi Ramos, Drew Dober, Thiago Moises, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green, Charles Oliveira, Volk twice, Poirier, and Renato Moicano. That sounds like a list of stacked fucking amazing fighters, but really when you trim the fat, when you trim the Drew Dobers and the David Ramoses and the Thiago Moises and even like the Dan Hooker's a good win, but he's been finished by a lot of guys. And Bobby Green's a great win, but we're talking all-time wins here. Charles Oliveira, he has Volk twice. The second one being an extremely short notice Volk that just came off a surgery and was fat. Has a old man Dustin Poirier at this point who just got head kicked by Justin Gaethje and knocked out. Was considers retiring every other fucking fight he has. Like 1 foot out the door, Poirier. You know, that's a good win. Poirier is one of my favourite fighters of all time, so I do rate that win from like a bias standpoint. And Renato Moicano is just, it's a good win, but like I can't compare a Moicano or a Poirier win against the absolute mad streak that Merab's gone on with Piotr Zian and Jose Aldo and all of these guys. But at the same time, skill-wise, do I do that? That is going to make some people so fucking angry, bro. But Merab has just looked more dominant than Islam, in my opinion. Next, we have got JDM. JDM, I'm going to put in A tier. I'm going to put him in A tier. I think he's underrated, man. Obviously, he looked great against Bilal. But at the end of the day, he's much better than a tricky boxer on the feet with some good defensive grappling. He's very, very, very good. Like, JDM is, if you are a striking purist, you look at JDM and you go, oh my god, this guy's one of the best strikers I've ever seen in MMA. Like, he puts it together so perfectly for the sport and what the sport needs. You also see him on the ground. Craig Jones, he says a lot of shit that he doesn't mean, and he says a lot of stupid fucking jokes. He said that he was very impressed with JDM's grappling, so impressed that he actually stole shit from JDM's game and used it himself. If that don't show you how well-rounded JDM is, like, just because he's nonchalant and he's a stoner and he fucking says 4 words in a 2-hour interview, like, don't sleep on JDM, bro, and do not be surprised if JDM beats Islam. I'm telling you, that is a possibility. JDM beats Islam, that's a Poirier and Islam fight. Probably happens still, but it's not as hyped because Islam just lost. And there's no longer 4 belts on the line, there's only 3 type shit. If you don't know what I mean, watch yesterday's video. I'll put the fucking thing on the screen now. So we got Dricus Du Plessis in middleweight. I'm going to put Dricus Du Plessis behind Pantoja and B tier. He's good, don't get me wrong. I do respect Dricus, and I like him outside of the cage more than I do inside the cage. I do enjoy watching him fight, but he just kills me, man. He's a great personality. I fucking love Dricus. He's a funny guy, normal guy. I could sit and have a beer with Dricus, you know what I mean, where some of these other guys, maybe I couldn't sit and have a beer with them, you know what I'm saying. I think Merab's a little bit too high energy for me, and yeah, I'd probably just sit there staring at Volk all day, fucking starstruck. So maybe the date with Volk ain't a good idea either. But Dricus Du Plessis goes in B tier. Some decent wins, obviously beat Strickland, beat Darren Till, beat a handful of guys, beat Izzy of course, but everybody's fucking beat Izzy it seems these days, which is just depressing. But it is what it is. We're getting old. Dricus Du Plessis goes B tier for me outside of Alexandre Pantoja, just because Pantoja, for his division, has dominated so many guys, and just beat pretty much everybody, as I mentioned earlier. So B tier for Dricus Du Plessis. Magomed Ankalaev, I'm going to put him at the front of C tier. For a light heavyweight, he's very, very good. Do I put him in? Actually, I'm going to put him in the back. No, I am going to put him in the front. I'm going to put him in the back of B tier. Fuck it. Magomed Ankalaev's very good for light heavyweight, and that is kind of the difference maker. He can do it all, essentially. He's a tricky, rangy striker. You know, he struck with Alex Pereira. Obviously, we have the takedown threat. I'm not going to sit here and waste your time by saying in a pure kickboxing match Magomed has the same success. I think he doesn't. I think he gets finished probably, but maybe Pereira's just washed and the rest of the light heavyweights are bad. I don't know, but I think Ankalaev in B tier is a good spot for him. I definitely wouldn't put him in A tier, and I don't think, I mean, these guys are on their second reign and they're quite old, and One of them's been knocked out twice recently, and the other one is just kind of had some bad looking fights, but still that takes momentum away, and that does affect you in a big way. So I think he should be in his own, is a tier above those two, but not quite in front of Dricus, and not quite near Pantoja either, not yet anyway. Maybe a few more defenses. Next we've got the heavyweight champions. We've got Jon Jones, who is, I guess, the quote-unquote undisputed heavyweight champion. I'm not gonna fucking chew your ear off about this whole Jones Aspinall situation, don't worry. We are all fucking sick to death of it. Jon Jones, he's going fucking, oh my god, I tried to put him in C tier, and it seemed Dana White just casted a fucking spell on my browser there to stop me, but fuck you, Dana White, bro. He's going in C tier. He's ruined it all. He's not a fucking heavyweight champion. You can't be a heavyweight champion by beating Cyril Gane and a 57-year-old Stipe that does 80-hour weeks in the fire station and uses a wheelchair to fucking move around his house, bro. I'm not hearing it. You beat Cyril Gane for a vacant title and defended it against Stipe. You haven't fought Volkov, you haven't fought Pavlovich, you haven't fought Aspinall, you haven't fought Blades, you haven't fought any fucking heavyweight, you haven't fought Romanov, you haven't fought Spivak, you haven't fought Gelson Almeida, you haven't fought anybody in the division. You're not a fucking heavyweight champion. If it was like heavyweight, he'd be up here. Regardless of the saltiness, he'd still be up here. Jones is, in my opinion, the goat of the sport. Like, I don't know, it's hard. It requires a whole fucking video by itself to talk about what Jones has done to his legacy with this. He has left a bad taste in so many people's mouths, and it's just something that he has to live with, I guess. Tom Aspinall, officially he is the interim champion. It's still a belt, but of course we all think he's undisputed. I think relative to his division, I'm going to put him a tier behind Merab, and I guess that means I'm doing this because Aspinall has not had, in his UFC run, he's not even had he's had a couple scary exchanges where he's been caught with a punch and then he threw a punch back and knocked the guy out. I'm not ranking somebody in a tier list based off of the potential what could happen because he leaves his chin in the air and XYZ. If Jones has really fled the scene, who does Aspinall lose to? He's beat most of the guys. He's in the same position as Pantoja. He's going to start lapping these guys. We don't need Aspinall Volkov too, but it's one of the best fights you can make, and Volkov has improved, but you know he will just get taken down and subbed again. Like, you know that's going to happen. I hate calling fights foregone conclusions, but out of everybody on this list, Aspinall, even though I wouldn't put him S tier, Aspinall, out of everybody on this list, is basically in the least amount of danger when it comes to pure skill for skill matchups. Like, he's in the most amount of danger because he's at heavyweight and everybody can punch, or not everybody can punch, but most people can punch at heavyweight, even the shit guys. Taito Ivasa could catch you and sleep you and end your fucking career, and he's like ranked fucking 42nd in the world right now or some bullshit. So Tom Aspinall goes second place at A tier in my opinion. I know a lot of you Americans are halfway through a comment like, of course bro, the British guy ranks ass. Bro, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck where somebody's from, bro. I mean it. Like, when we had Leon Edwards as a champion, Leon Edwards would be down here somewhere. You know, Nathaniel Wood is one of my favourite fighters. It has nothing to do with the fact he's from the UK. Like, my favourite fighter right now is probably Roman Kopylov. Like, I support my guys, but I wouldn't, when it comes to ranking them in tier list and debating MMA fans on UK fighters, I don't want to make myself look like a fucking idiot. I'm not going to just say, yeah, I think Aspinall beats this guy, bro, just because he's from the UK. I didn't pick Paddy against Chandler. I thought Chandler would actually beat Paddy, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. My point is that I'm not biased when it comes to the UK stuff, I promise. And I think Tom Aspinall is, out of all the divisions, if we're talking dominance, Merab runs bantamweight. He's not in that much trouble when it comes to some of the matchups. Tom Aspinall runs heavyweight. Islam and Topuria and everybody else, other than Pantoja, you know what I might do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And now I'm happy with that, I think. I'm happy with that. I think Pantoja needs a bit more respect, man. He's beat most of the guys in his division. He had the Urseg tricky, close decision, but still, So that's the complete tier list for 2025. If you disagree, please let me know about it, I guess, and we can have some conversations in the comments. But I'm pretty happy with this. I think as people aren't going to be happy with the Volk and the Oliveira placement, and they're probably not going to be happy with the JDM placement. They're going to say he's too high, and they may not be happy with the Aspinall placement, but I guess we will find out what happens. Topuria and Oliveira is in 2 weeks time at UFC 318 or 317 or wherever the fuck we are. Pretty sure it's 318, so we'll see what happens. But just hypothetically, if Topuria beats Oliveira, he probably goes behind Tom in front of Islam. No, I don't know, that's a bit controversial to say. Islam's just had some tough fights, man. Topuria hasn't, that's all I'm saying. Or he has had a couple of tough fights, but Jai Herbert getting caught with a head kick on a short notice upper weight class fight by Jai Herbert, who's about fucking 9 meters taller than Ilia Topuria. I'm not okay. You get caught with a head kick by Jai Herbert. I need a caught with a head kick by Jai Herbert tier separately, bro. That's fuck. You should never be getting. Shut the fuck up, bro. Jai Herbert's good. Now Dana White's casting spells on me again. Ilia Topuria goes behind Islam. I'm not willing to throw him in front of Islam just yet, but I think Aspinall goes in front of Islam. Aspinall didn't get took to life and death decision with a light heavyweight moving up. Aspinall didn't fight a fucking old half-washed contender and take him to the 4th round. You know, Aspinall's finishing guys super fast. He's super decisive. Merab is super decisive. Yeah, it is what it is. But thank you very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.